What's up, guys? I'm here with my friend Blake, and we are about to talk Logan. We are about to talk spoilers, so you have been warned.
Hey guys, Spencer said, this is Blake, and I can clearly see why this movie was rated R.
Yeah, it was very violent.
It was extremely violent, and definitely a movie that definitely hits you in the feels, and it was kind of a shocker, at least for me, because I didn't see half the stuff that was going to be in there coming, and it was definitely, it was a bit much. But it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it, and it was definitely, I'd go see it again for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it next weekend with my dad and brother.
Excellent.
Right from the beginning of this movie, they started out strong with the gore.
They really did. It was, it was a mess. It was really, really bad.
Detached limbs, arms.
Exactly. But the good way, the good thing that they did was it was kind of, they let it off as being, that was how the movie was going to go. It set the pace for the movie.
Yep. Set the tone. It wasn't too on the nose.
Yeah. It was definitely surprising. Like, I was not expecting that from...
They knew what it was going to be, and they set up that tone right from the beginning to where we already knew what to expect.
Absolutely. And it was definitely... it was interesting. They were still bad guys. It wasn't like he wasn't going around just killing random people.
Yeah, it was only people that messed with him.
Exactly.
And even then, sometimes he didn't want to.
Exactly.
The guys in the beginning that he was taking a nap in his car.
Yeah.
He didn't want to hurt those guys, but they shot him with a shotgun, and he's like, "Oh crap, I got to do this again."
Exactly. And that kind of brings me to a good point, is the fact that in this movie Logan's older, and he's clearly he's just not the same way that he used to be.
He's not healing anymore, or at least not as fast.
He's not healing as fast, so he's definitely feeling the pain and that kind of thing. And they make sure to illustrate that in the very beginning.
Yep.
And,
the bathroom scene where he has all the scars on his chest and shoulders.
Yeah, and again, they illustrate that, and that was hard to watch. I mean, to see Logan,
someone who
from his active self, and they really they made that so that it would be hard to watch, and they definitely made sure that that it was that they were going to make sure to illustrate the fact that he's old, he's not his former self, and he's definitely showing it, but he's also grumpy because of it, and
he's always been grumpy.
He's always been grumpy, but it was more so. It was kind of by order of magnitude.
And he didn't have much will to live anymore at that point.
That too. I mean,
he was taking care of Charles, and other than that, he was going to kill himself with that adamantium bullet.
Exactly. Which
they brought up multiple times.
Yeah, and that to me was sad in a sense, because again, he's changed from his former self, and he's matured because of it, but at the same time, again, he's incredibly angry at literally everyone, but it doesn't detract from the toughness portion. I mean, Wolverine is still Wolverine.
Yeah, he's still Wolverine.
A tough guy. Yeah. But he's definitely showing his age, and it was hard to watch that downward spiral for both Xavier and Wolverine, especially when Xavier was
at the end of their days. It's hard to see that.
And when Xavier was in the water tower, that scene where he's clearly old, he's losing his mind, he's got a degenerative brain disease in what they said was the world's most dangerous brain.
Yeah. He's had a lot of years experience to grow his powers.
Exactly. So he's having these seizures, and they put him in the water tower just to kind of hopefully
isolate him.
Yeah, decrease his sensitivity and isolate him to hopefully stop these seizures from happening, which had clearly happened in an event before this movie, this timeline.
Because didn't the government deem him as a weapon of mind of mass destruction?
Yeah, they deemed his mind a weapon of mass destruction, and so it was sad to see him going downhill as well, especially for a character that we all know and love. And
these characters are so close.
They are.
They've been together through so many things.
They are, and
through all the movies ever since X-Men 1, they've been together.
Yeah, and Wolverine's been taking care of him as well during this whole time. And again, that's also something that's been stressing him out, and it's just been another burden, so to speak.
This is not a comic book movie at all.
No, definitely not. And one of my favorite parts of the movie,
it is because of the characters in it.
It is. One of my favorite parts of the movie is, again, as you said, it's not a comic book movie, but the fact that they used the X-Men comics in the movie to kind of base the story off of it was kind of interesting. It was kind of a fourth wall thing almost.
I mean, the X-Men at that point in time were a thing of the past.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that they're using the comic books as kind of a basis for that, the present that they were in, and him saying that it was in the past, is definitely kind of interesting. And again, it's that whole fourth wall thing. I feel like X-23 gave him purpose. It kind of gave him, a new sense of life and
exactly.
being able to proceed beyond, that kind of the low point that he was at. He was drinking a lot. He was clearly
as
doing
usual.
some sort of drugs. But it kind of breathed new life into what he was trying to.
It took him some time.
It did. It took him time to warm up to
Yeah.
the fact that, he had a daughter.
Well, he didn't find out until about halfway, right?
That's true. Yeah, he didn't find out until halfway.
And even then, he was still resistant to it.
He didn't believe it, I don't think. Or maybe it was just such a shock to him that he didn't really care to believe it.
Well, at that point, he just experienced Charles' death too.
Exactly. But again, it gave him purpose. It gave him something to fight for, and and it's going to be a lasting legacy for Logan.
Do you have any negatives?
I don't really have any negatives. The only negative that I would have is it didn't really. Yeah, they tied it up at the end, but they didn't tie it up with X-23. We don't know what's happening to her. We don't know where she's going. We don't know what these kids are doing, or where they're going to develop their abilities. They're just out there now, and it's kind of weird to think that they would just end it there. I feel like this might be the next stepping stone for X-Men. They've got younger characters now, and even even if they make these characters 20 years in the future, which is how I think they'll play this out. If it's 20 years in the future and they're doing this, perhaps they start up a school, or perhaps they start up maybe a sanctuary for X-Men that are on the run. This could be there could definitely be a movie made from that. But really, that was the only negative that I had. I mean, the fact it was more bloody, more gory, was definitely something.
Definitely more entertaining, yeah.
More entertaining.
It's the Wolverine we've always wanted.
Yep.
Ever since we got that little preview in X-Men 2 when he goes berserk, we've always wanted it gory and him to go crazy on people.
Exactly.
And we definitely got that in Logan. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
The villain,
that's true.
It could have been a little better. Not the performance. I actually kind of liked his character as far as his charisma and the way that he would act on screen. That was fine. Yeah. But, of course, he's just a general henchman who just goes after our good guys. The only other negative is that they didn't spend enough time mourning Charles Xavier's death.
Yeah, that was really quick and brief.
Yeah. He went from really sad, burying him in the ground, to, I'm going to go beat the shit out of my truck.
Yeah.
At the end, when Logan died, I almost cried.
I did too.
I was trying to hold back.
I definitely got some teary eyes going, but it was just the fact that they've developed the character over 20 years now, and
17, 18 years, yeah.
So it's for Marvel movies, superheroes, they usually come back, or they hint at it that they're going to come back even when they die. But in this case, I really don't see them coming back. No. I really don't. And the fact that Hugh Jackman's contract was up and all that, I just don't see it. Unless he shows up in Deadpool 2, which they've been heavily hinting at. This is certainly one of the more serious Marvel movies I've ever seen. Definitely the most
probably
gory.
Is.
Definitely the most gory, and definitely there was a reason why it was rated R. So.
It's one of the few rated R comic book movies out there.
Yep.
Besides like Blade, Constantine. Those weren't really gory. Probably the goriest superhero comic book movie ever made. Probably.
I think so. It was definitely. It was out there. I feel like it was a very subtle Easter egg where he was talking about a self-promoting asshole in a leotard. That's not like how the normal hero is portrayed, at least to the X-Men. But I feel like he may have been referencing Deadpool there.
Logan definitely has Deadpool to thank for this, because if Deadpool wasn't such a hit and success, Logan would not have been made. They would not have taken this chance.
Yeah, it was definitely taking a chance, and again,
it's going to pay off. I think this movie is going to do really good. Do you have any predictions of how much you think it's going to make this weekend?
I have no idea.
Do you have a number you want to predict? Opening weekend?
I would say maybe, I don't know, 180 million, maybe.
Ooh, that's high.
That's pretty high.
I would love. It definitely deserves 180 million, but I don't think it's going to make it.
It may not. But again,
as much as we love it being rated R,
shooting for the moon on this one because it was a great movie. So
as much as we love it being rated R, unfortunately, not as many people are going to go see it because of the kids factor.
That's true.
You do not want to bring your kids to see this movie.
No, definitely not. It's not.
It has some language. It had small little thing of nudity in it. It was nothing.
Oh, I forgot about
3
that part.
seconds.
Yeah.
But it definitely has some foul language and a lot of gore that you don't want your little kiddies to see.
No.
So
Yeah,
so unfortunately
quite
that's going
violent.
to take a hit on the box office.
That's true. That's true. It's definitely an adult movie. For
Very
sure.
adult.
But,
If I had to guess, opening weekend, 105 million.
yeah. Out of 10, I would say. I mean, the movie was definitely. It was a long movie.
That's kind of another negative.
So-
It kind of slows down a little bit, but then it picks back up.
It does, and there's certainly no shortage of action.
No.
So I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. The soundtrack was great.
8 out of
too.
10?
8 out of 10. I'm gonna go high on this one. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It kept me on edge. It was stressful to watch, but
It was
that's
emotional.
that was
It's an
part of the
emotional
movie
roller
supposed to be.
coaster for sure.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to go higher.
Really.
9.2.
That's up there.
I
That is up
loved
there.
this movie. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is one of the best comic book movies ever made.
Wow. That is. I don't know if I could go that far.
Really?
I don't know if I could go that far, but it is definitely up there.
This is
so
one of the most different comic book movies ever.
Mhm.
He thought it was an 8. I thought it was a 9.2. What did you think about this movie? Let us know in the comment section what you thought of this movie. All right, well, this is my friend Blake. He was joining me on this review. I'm Suspenseful, and I'll see you in the next video.
All right. See ya.